Newcomer. Wanna wait? 907. Matrix Bertha called you, Lenise. Do you know why? Lenise had to push against an opening door as the guilt rose from his question. Outwardly, she shook her head and said, unless... She struggled with the door. Her cover was fading. The door burst open. Unless what? Daphne screamed. Demanded. Unless, Lenise said, closing the door. Unless Bertha thought that I was once her pupil. The door closed, but she couldn't get it to lock. Stepping away from the door, she gained eye contact with Daphne. Reminding herself to remain constant, she used the black of Daphne's pupils to lock and cover the door while Daphne asked her own questions. Were you ever Matrix Bertha students? No, Lenise said without moving her eyes. Then why would you think you were? Matrix Bertha was the oldest daughter of mighty staff. Her memory was fading with her death. Lenise looked down to feign a prayer to the Holy Mother for Bertha's safekeeping while she swam in the void. The interviewer checked back to her screen. Lenise inwardly sighed. Her prayer ruse had worked. She was able to smooth all curtains back into their abyss. Lenise would pay for her blasphemy. Her final question was from the list and was to be asked only if Lenise had seemed nervous about the shawl. Daphne thought back to Lenise's reactions in regard to the question about it. Lenise didn't seem too bothered by the gift, so it didn't seem appropriate to ask this question, but she decided to cover herself and ask it anyway. Do you have any objections to a runner retrieving Bertha's shawl? A slip of paper blew out from beneath its curtain. Lenise winced at its sight. The only rejection that I have is time, she lied while trying to blow the slip of paper back under the door. Time, Daphne asked, not believing this to be the reason for Lenise's wince. Yes, time. I have a noon appointment. I'm waiting for a runner to go to Nice and then return with a shawl would cut my traveling time. Oh, Daphne said, touching her ear. She was listening to a message that said, the rest of the High Council doesn't believe it's necessary for you to wait for the runner to return. The computer screen remained black, and Daphne rose to dismiss Lenise. Lenise rose for the farewell, kissed both of Daphne's cheeks and reminded her of the upcoming wagers before turning to leave. She walked slowly, but not too slowly, cautiously, but not too cautiously, across the room. She ran to run out of the door. On her return trip, she drank 4 cups of Valerian tea and accepted the synthetic. Back in Zantok, the rest of the council had joined Daphne at a table to discuss the intermination, whispering heads above a grandiose desk in a murdered library. She seemed normal to me, calm, but that could have been the tea that she inhaled on her way here, Dreda of Anna said. I understand she's on her second cup now, Hilda of Gladia announced, stirring honey into her own alchemic brew. I wonder why she was so nervous when she left, inquired Patricia of Victoria. The 7 accusers looked into each other's speculating eyes as they questioned and shared a laugh. The sound of the cackling resonated throughout the room long after it sprang from their mouths. Look at us, Mariah of Laughing Crow said over the reverberating gaiety. What a pack of conniving old witches we are. I'd be scared to death to go on trial before us. We are a wicked lot, Daphne of Saccia agreed, but we have our reasons. We all know how a tiny disturbance could interfere with the way. Can we believe that Lenise isn't hiding information? Patricia asked. There's never been a ripple from her to staff, Ruth of Cynthia said. True, agreed Dreda, but we've always wondered why Lenise's charges bring in the highest bids at the wagers. What does that have to do with anything? Joyce of Deborah asked. Besides, we discussed that years ago after an interrogation into her procedures. We found nothing wrong with her deviances from the guidelines then, and I find nothing improper with her actions now, she said, thinking how marvelous the niece looked in that sari that she'd given her. You're only defending her, admonished Patricia, because she was wearing that frumpy garment you gave to her for a birthday present. Let's stick to the facts, Ruth intervened. The remaining 6 sisters nodded, and Ruth continued. Bertha died at 5:30 a.m. The niece did nothing except shower before coming straight here. She didn't even stop for breakfast. Don't you find that odd? Hilda asked, considering her famous appetite. No, said Daphne. She was woken with dust summons and then given an envelope to deliver to the High Council of Xantar. Everyone knows about Bertha's past, and they know that personal contact with Bertha will be held suspect. I believe that she acted accordingly. Speaking of suspicion, Hilda chimed in, what was the fuzz in the reception in Bertha's room? The woman glared at her. Joyce spoke. Computer error, Hilda. We still all agree that it was computer error. Still, Hilda sang and went back to her tea. What do you think about the shawl, I asked, changing the subject. I believe that it was a token, Patricia said. I've been given such items myself, added Joyce. We all have, Daphne answered. I haven't, exclaimed Hilda. No doubt, the 6 sisters chided. After giving a mock glare, Hilda joined in the council. Okay, said Joyce, bringing the council back to order. Does anyone believe the shawl is some kind of signal or something of that effect? The sisters looked to one another. I think that we should send for the shawl for the simple fact that it came from Bertha, Rufus said. I disagree. What harm can a shawl bring? Asked Patricia. If we don't send for it, Bernice might wonder why we didn't, since we said we were going to, I reasoned. If she's suspect, Rita added, then Bernice would be relieved that we didn't ask for it. If she were innocent, then our not asking it for it would prompt her to send it, Joyce rationalized. Yes, the devil's advocate, Hilda said, but if she's guilty and not really good at deception, then she would know we'd be watching her in regards to her shawl, then no matter what she does, she'll know that we'll suspect her anyway. The sisters shared another cackle at Hilda's confusing truth. I find it hard to believe that Bernice is that smart, quipped Greta. You're so evil, Patricia retorted. Let's take a vote. Who here believes that Bernice is as intelligent as she is beautiful? Who said that Bernice was so beautiful? Did you check out that hair? Don't be such a man, Greta, Ruth reprimanded. Hey, there's no need for swearing, chided Mariah. Enough, Joyce cautioned. Who believes that Bernice is that covert? No one raised their hand. Agreed. So we don't send for the shawl, and we wait for her next move. Then we can suspect her no matter what she does. What else is new? Hilda asked, concluding the meeting with a round of laughter.